Explain why you were a Bernie Sanders supporter for president.
Two reasons. One, I felt how exclusive the club of politics is in California. I mean, from an emotional sense, what drew me to Sanders? You got to understand. I mean, I had everyone from the president to all the senators to the congresspeople, always endorsing against me, running in the other room. And Bernie came up and he said, you know what? Let's shake up the system. This two-party system with these insiders calling the shots, that's not democracy. Let's open it up for other people. And I think that many people, they so focus on the economic agenda for Sanders, which we can get into. But at the core of his appeal was that the system, this club of party insiders that are squelching competition is not working. The big money in politics is not working. Let's break it up. That's what drew me on an emotional basis as a guy who had lost twice for Congress, who was running a third and final time, and I would have probably done something else in my life if I had lost that one. I said, you know what? This guy Sanders is talking about breaking up the establishment. But then on a substantive basis, just the incredible inequality in the country. And I saw it firsthand then, and I see it now. I mean, you know, Mark, you've been to my district. It's $14 trillion of wealth. Apple, you know, Google, Tesla, NVIDIA, Broadcom. I've got 5 companies in my district that are over $1 trillion. And at the same time, you've got people in this country who can't afford childcare, can't afford healthcare. I think about where I grew up, the industries sort of declining, the steel in Western Pennsylvania just hollowed out. I said, how have we allowed a country to do this where we're producing more wealth than ever before, and people, so many Americans don't have a shot at the American dream and economic security? And that's what drew me to Sanders, that he was talking about that income inequality.
Are there positions he has that are too far to the left for you?
Well, I don't call myself a democratic socialist. I call myself a progressive capitalist. I don't believe we should outlaw billionaires. I think we should have an economic growth and an economic investment in communities. I was for the Chips and Science Act. I helped write it. He was opposed to that. And in general, my view is that FDR, the way he had economic development, economic growth in places like Warren and Lorraine, was not just the federal government. He also had business leaders, technology leaders, local leaders. And so in that spirit, you know, there are places that I, of course, differ.
Tell the story of how some of Silicon Valley, including some of your district, has turned away from the Democratic Party. There's some prominent leaders who have, but there's some people also who aren't necessarily famous who are now attracted to the Republican Party, to Donald Trump. What mistakes did your party make to alienate some of those folks, do you think?
You know, so much of it is unfortunately generational. I mean, the honest truth is people under 50 in the tech world really turned away from the Democratic Party and some to the Republican Party. And I think it was almost masked because a lot of the big names, the John Doers, Reid Hoffman, are still Democrats. And of course, there are a few big names like David Sachs, Elon, who went Republican. But the broader challenge is, why did we lose so many of these younger tech leaders? And I'll tell you why we lost them, why we may get some of them back. One, they didn't like the attacks on free speech. They thought that we made them feel too judged, too much like they were the problem, not free to be able to speak their mind. Two, they didn't like what they saw as an administrative attack on technology and entrepreneurs. I believe we need sensible crypto regulation, but some of that went too far, where people who were in this industry weren't being allowed to have bank accounts, were being demonized. That rubbed them the wrong way. There was a concern that we did not support and understand why technology development ultimately can be good for America and good for the world. So I would say those are the reasons we lost them. Now, what makes me think that they're having pause? And this, you know, this is not anecdotal, scientific, but for probably every 10 people we lost to Trump, I would argue 7 are still in Trump's corner, and 3 are now having doubts. Doesn't mean that the election wouldn't be the same result if it were tomorrow. I mean, Kamala Harris still may lose, but 3 are at least having doubts. And they're having doubts on blanket tariffs. They're having doubts on the attacks on universities and the way that he's done it. They're having doubts on the international student pause. I mean, Silicon Valley has a lot of them, including Elon Musk. And they're having doubts about just the chaos of the economy that has taken place. And they don't like the cuts on medical research, NSF. But we still haven't won them over. I would put them in, okay, they're now a little bit uneasy. But we still have a lot of work to do.